So, you want to start to play Dungeons and Dragons and you don't know where to begin. Well, in this series, I'll be helping you understand what D&D is and why it's so popular, how to get started, whether you're an absolute beginner or returning after a long time. Hopefully, you will find something in this series to help you out. So sit back and relax as I guide you on your next adventure. So, what is Dungeons and Dragons? It's known as a TTRPG, or a tabletop role-playing game. Hold on, you've lost me, I hear you cry. What is a role-playing game? A role-playing game is defined as a game where players take control of an imaginary character and take them on adventures. If you're a gamer, then you will have heard the term RPG to describe games such as Skyrim, Fallout, or Final Fantasy. Okay, but what is a TTRPG? Well, TT simply means tabletop. An RPG which is played on a table. It's that simple. While you don't always need a table to play D&D, it's still called that because it's primarily played at a table. Dungeons & Dragons was invented in 1974 by a company called Tactical Study Rules and was based on a tactical war tabletop game. It basically became very popular and people were able to create characters, get lost in worlds of their own making and tell stories and create heroes and do so much more.
Your dungeon master has placed you in a dreadfully precarious position. You're playing the most phenomenal game ever created. Your skin grows cold from your first glimpse of the enormous beast. It's a product of your imagination. Survival depends on a quick, decisive move. Your choices are limited. Stand and fight, or run. Use your lightning bolt. Victory is yours.
Win the treasure!
TSR Hobbies, Dungeons & Dragons game.
However, like a lot of things, people who didn't understand the concept of the game saw the depictions of demons and monsters in the book, the use of magic and spells, and thought it had something to do with devil worship. Well, a load of rubbish.
Dungeons & Dragons has been around since the early 70s, is played by an estimated 5 million people. It is also the target of a group of concerned parents in the United States who call themselves BADD, B-A-D-D, bothered about Dungeons & Dragons. The reason they are bothered is because they believe the game has been involved in a number of murders and suicides across the United States and now in Canada. At the trial of a 14-year-old boy who admitted to strangling a young Orangeville, Ontario girl and her brother, it was revealed the accused had been playing the game for 18 months, had in fact been a dungeon master of his own group for 5 months.
In the 80s and 90s, D&D was banned in schools because people believed that it promoted devil worship and the occult. In 1997, Wizards of the Coast bought over Tactical Study Rules and took control of D&D, with Hasbro buying over Wizards 2 years later. D&D has expanded and grown over the years, even including a TV series, animated, and several movies. The most recent came out last year. And in 2024, we're currently into the 5th edition of D&D. But how do you get started? There are 2 answers for this. One, very simple, read the books. The second is a lot more detailed. There are loads of things to help you get into the game. So, let's get started. It's important to understand how D&D is played. It's very easy to get to grips with. There's someone called the Dungeon Master, or DM, who is basically the storyteller. Their job is to build the world, the people in it, and tell the stories and what will happen to the players. They will play the NPC, the non-player characters, usually with different voices and mannerisms, the creatures that the players will need to fight, and so much more. The players, you, if you're not being a DM of course, build a character, choosing from a race, a class, and you create a backstory for this character. Chances are this will be the character that you will play throughout your campaign, so you should make them someone that you like and won't get bored of. As a player, if you want to do anything, usually the DM will get you to roll for it. They mean roll a dice. Any decision or action in D&D is determined with the roll of a dice, usually a d20. A 20-sided dice. If the number is above 10, then usually it's a success, but the number depends on how successful you are. Anything below 10 means a failure. Again, the number depends on how much of a failure. Should you roll a 1, you critically fail, which means whatever you're trying to do fails dramatically, usually with hilarious results. Should you roll a 20, you roll a critical success, and whatever you're trying to do is successful, and then some of you may get a bonus on top, like a free drink or money, depending on the action. There's other dice that we'll go over in the next episode. This has been a brief introduction into the world of Dungeons & Dragons, and I hope that you have found this useful in some way. Join me in the next episode when I'll explain to you how to create a character. If you would like to do some self-learning and you're serious about wanting to play D&D, I highly recommend getting the Player Handbook, which will give you everything you need to know about how to play D&D. You can also buy a starter pack which will include the rulebook, a pre-made campaign, pre-made characters and a set of dice so you'll be ready to play D&D at any time. All the books are available digitally on D&D Beyond, D&D's online platform for everything relating to the TTRPG. I'll pop a link in the description. I'll do a separate episode all about D&D Beyond though. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again, Adventurer. Bye bye for now.